I think people should be the most suspicious of feedback that's positive. That's too positive. For
That's
one
too
thing,
positive.
that if you use like We Screenplay or a lot of these coverage sites, they tell their readers who may be very inexperienced, they tell the readers, don't be too discouraging because we want their business, because they'll just go somewhere else. So you could very well get stuff that says, you're great, you moved me, this is great, I love this, this was hilarious, and maybe look at these 3 things, and then you think, wow, I'm almost there. This happened to me.
Yeah.
I got burned by false positives.
I can back this up. So stop me if I've told you the story, Lucas, or anybody out there in TV land. One of my very first jobs that I got when I moved out to Los Angeles and I needed a job was in the back of one of the trade papers like Backstage or Dramalog at the time. There was a company that was looking for people to read material, to provide feedback to aspiring writers. This was basically my first gig writing coverage, although I didn't know what it was called at the time. And they hired me because why wouldn't they? I mean, it's fly by night company, as I later found out. And that was exactly the marching orders, Lucas, that you just mentioned, were what were told to me at age 21, which is, well, we want them to come back. We want them to be repeat customers. So what you want to do is you want to be encouraging, and you want to, try to put the best slant on everything possible so that they keep coming back and coming back and coming back. And again, because I was like a 21-year-old knucklehead and I didn't know anything about Hollywood, I mean, I gradually realized that these guys were disreputable. And the guy who was running the company, I found out over lunch at a diner that he was, he had one produced slasher movie in the early 70s that he had written or produced, or something you'd never heard of whatsoever. But this was his claim to fame that he's been eating lunch on for like a couple of decades, and what made him a professional. And so after like a month or two of doing that, I was just like, I can't do this. Now, that was this one company. There are many of such companies as this still to this day, and they've gotten more sophisticated, and they have, better websites, and they have a better sales pitch. But there are obviously a lot of them, which is the reason that Lucas and I continue to say the majority of such operations are not worth your time, not worth your money. A few are. Do your research. It's easy enough. You're on Google now. You can look up these things. You can find out who they are, where they've worked, who recommends them, what they've actually done, to determine if they're going to be helpful to your career. But buyer beware. You have to do a little bit of research. But yeah, Lucas is absolutely right. There are a few too many of those operations that are out there just to kind of take advantage of aspiring screenwriters, and that's pretty crummy.
That sucks. That's why we're doing this show for free. This is all sincere. We are old-fashioned Hollywood liberals and dads, and we actually care about our fellow writers. We care about humans, and we care about the world.
That's a good way to put it.